What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first ever OG Sports Show coming to you live from SBM Studios in Tampa, Florida. I'm your boy Chuck.
Slow motion.
And B.
Basically, we coming to you today, and as we will every episode, we just three partners, been friends for close to 20 years. One of the things that kind of kept us together is sports, and kind of brought us together is sports. So we're essentially just going to be three partners, just going to be talking sports and some other shit. Just depends on what it is. So we're just getting right into our first segment, which is a segment that we come together and talk about what's going on in the sports world this past week or past month, just depending on how hot it is. And we call that segment "What the Lick Read." So
With the lick read for episode 1. What? Monday. Was it Monday night? Tuesday night?
Some baseball?
Yeah, World Series.
The final game was Tuesday.
Tuesday night, the LA Dodgers wrapped up the World Series in 6 games. But the controversy was pulling out Blake Snell, I think in the 6th or 7th inning.
It was the 6th.
The guy was dealing. I mean, he was doing well, went through the lineup twice. But the analytics say remove the pitcher before the third go around
Through the lineup.
through the lineup. And obviously, we all know the results of what happened. Blake Snell gets pulled. Mookie Betts found his bat. Everybody, I think it was a single, double. Then Mookie Betts hits a home run in the following inning to cap it off, and then that was all she wrote.
Yep, turn it over to that bullpen at that point, and
So,
It was a wrap.
what do you feel about analytics in sports?
Go ahead, B. I'll let you jump in first before I give my point of view.
I think there's a place for analytics, but you have to find that balance on your gut feeling on what you see as a baseball manager or a player, what you see is going on in the game. All this analytics stuff came about when we say about early 2000s with the A's when they started doing stuff.
Yeah.
The whole Moneyball situation came
and all
out.
that situation.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily trendy, but it was a way, I guess, for those smaller market teams to kind of keep up with the Dodgers, the Yankees, the
Right.
Red Sox, the ones that just going out spending money.
Right.
And now it's gotten to the point where it's become the norm in baseball. And in big situations like a World Series, it bothered me because, like you said, Snell was dealing. He had already been through the lineup twice, but they weren't hitting him.
No.
He
Not
gave
at all.
up one single. Here come Kevin Cash, pulling him out of the game. Bringing in the pitcher, I forgot the guy's name. He had been sucking the whole World Series. So for me, and I wish Kevin Cash would have trusted his gut feeling a little bit more instead of pulling Snell in that moment. Maybe that one hit, Snell could have got a ground ball because the way he was going, he
Right.
probably could have got out of that inning.
Turn two.
And next thing you know is he's done with the 6th inning, and then you can hand it over to the bullpen in the 7th and get down.
I will say, just from a point of view of a coach's standpoint, because my son's been playing baseball since he was 5. He's 16 now, and I've managed his teams throughout the years and in some big situations, and you have to, you obviously want to account for, like you said, they've been through the lineup twice. In a lot of situations, by the time a batter sees a pitcher for the 3rd time, they can kind of figure out what they're doing and maybe have some success. In my opinion, watching that game, Snell had them boys looking stupid.
Crazy.
Like,
that slider was working hard.
He had them looking so stupid. I've seen where the 3rd go around, hitters figure a pitcher out. I've also seen a pitcher make a team look stupid for 6, 7, 8, 9 innings too.
Right.
The one thing, there's a couple of things that analysts do not account for, and that's heart, that's grit, that's momentum, because the Rays had it all. I know it's hard to win a 1-0 game, obviously, in Major League Baseball, especially in the World Series, especially against a team like the Dodgers.
Especially when you're not producing runs as the Rays. That
Right.
was
Right.
another thing that really kind of hampered them from really winning the series.
Right, but I agree with what you're saying is that Cash should have went more with his gut. He should have let Snell at least finish the sixth and see how he felt. Yeah, he gives up one ground ball and he takes him out like that. It just didn't make any sense to me. And then you bring in, reliever that's throwing it hard, when Snell had them off balance the entire time. Now this looking like it's just sitting on the tee for him, and exactly how it panned out. Like you said, Mookie found his bat,
Right.
and a couple of things fell their way. I think they scored on a wild. They tied it up on a wild pitch,
on
and
a
then
wild
Mookie
pitch.
came back and scored right behind it on the ground ball to first base. Like outcome would have been completely different. Like you said, if they would have gave Snell one more at bat, what if he did get a ground ball? That eliminates Mookie off of the plate. I mean, off of base, and now we got a whole new ball game.
And even Mookie Betts said they were kind of relieved when Snell when he got the hook.
Duh.
They was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
thank you.
He
Let's
had us
go to
looking,
work.
He had us looking stupid this whole time. Let me see somebody else. Obviously,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like the analytics is even flowing in the game of football, where teams are going for it on fourth down more now because the numbers say go for it on fourth down. But I just have a problem with it, just like what you were saying, B, or both of y'all were saying. You have to know, okay, the analytics say this, but you got to know the game situation.
Right.
Okay, if you're going up against the Rams and Aaron Donald just killing your center and guard, and it's 4th and 1,
We are not going to run.
you're not going to go for it.
in
You know what I
A
mean?
or B.
Or A or B. So like that's where sometimes you have to throw that out. It's some 21-year-old nerd sitting back crunching the numbers and saying, "Hey,
Isn't that also the GM for Houston, who's now not going to Philadelphia in the NBA? Isn't that his claim to fame, the
yeah,
analytics?
the analytics."
That hasn't won a damn thing yet in Houston. Like, yeah, you look great, having Harden stand at the top of the key and basically shoot everybody off and
Right.
just do his little thing and score. Yeah, he's looking like the best thing since sliced bread out there scoring the basketball. But y'all not winning nothing.
Nothing.
And now they finna try the same thing in Philadelphia. Unless they're gonna make some big changes, it's not gonna work there either.
That
To me,
ain't-
analytics can't, like I said, it can't account for heart, can't account for grit or momentum. It's just like you said. The way it looks and feels is like a bunch of nerds just on a computer saying, "Okay, now's the time to take this guy out because the statistics tell me that he's
this.
about to fall apart."
And Doug Peterson, when you say Philly, it's funny for the Eagles, same city.
Yeah.
He lives and die by it. And the game 1 when they played Washington, he went for it on 4th down in his own territory. It's like, okay, Washington, I'm a Washington fan. We weren't even moving the ball, but you giving us short field.
Right.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you, analytics.
If anybody needs it, Washington needs it.
Yeah, of course.
I think in football it's a little bit different though. It's not as it hasn't seemed to work its way into the fabric of the game like it did for baseball, because no matter what team it is, they all are going they're using analytics to kind of set their lineups, set their rotations,
Right.
when to pull this guy, when to pinch hit for him, and it's that. Football, it hasn't really. I think football has a very good marriage of analytics and the coaches going for a gut and having that feeling. So I don't think it's reached baseball type levels in the NFL and in basketball.
It probably never will because baseball, is a lot more dependent upon chance and the possibility of something happening than football. Football, you can control, physicality, of course. You can control certain things. Baseball, it's all dependent upon you being able to use this round stick and hit a round ball that's coming at you at 95 plus miles per hour.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot up to hope for or wish for when baseball. When the football, like you said, we just got to line it up. If it don't make no sense to line it up and say, okay, yeah, we're gonna run it Aaron Donald on 4th and 1.
There's outliers in baseball to where if Blake Snell had not pitched, I think he pitched like 60 or 75 some pitches, I think. Had he pitched had only 50 pitches and he was no hitting them or one hit, and he had him one hit.
Absolutely don't take him out.
Absolutely, you don't touch him and take him out, and they wouldn't take him out.
No.
That's when they kind of we're gonna put these analytics to the side.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy that baseball is the only sport where 30% is good. Yeah, think about it.
It'll get you to the hall. It'll get you to the
Bat
hall.
300. They not even batting 300 anymore.
No, 270.
That's rare.
225, but I drive in 75 runs a game and hit 15 home runs. And
Did you see the exit velocity on that ball?
Hey, man. That'll get you 300 million.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
you're right.
crazy.
It's gonna take you a minute. You're right. It'll get you 300 million. It absolutely will.
All right. Big day in college football. I mean, not the biggest as far as matchups, but storylines.
We got a couple upsets.
Yeah. The one of the
Couple
big
close
storylines,
upsets.
Clemson, Boston College.
Boston College, they pitched that game away.
Yes, they did. I was watching it, and I think at one point it was 28-10, maybe.
Yeah, they were down.
And
18.
I said, I looked at the time. I said, Clemson's gonna come back. The athletes are gonna take over and push Boston College right out the game.
It's probably my fault because I have the tendency of jinxing teams. I wanted Clemson to lose so bad.
You had your Twitter fingers ready.
Yes, so I was ready, bro.
He was ready to talk smack, talk that shit.
I wanted them to lose so bad. That's why they came back and won. So,
I feel the same way sometimes when you hate a team so bad.
So
you
bad.
really want to be like, come on, and it just fall apart.
I thought the same thing with Michigan. I thought Michigan was going to find a way to come back and beat Michigan State yesterday, but I was so glad they held on.
I watched that game too. It was a kind of sloppy game, back and forth.
Yeah, it was. But to me, it just further proved my point that, Michigan is another one of those teams that just overrated every single year. Like, every year they blow them up to be more than what they are.
Yeah.
And why? It's like the graphic show yesterday that Jim Harbaugh is 1-6 at home against Ohio State and Michigan State.
Yeah, and the only win is Michigan State.
Tell me another coach in a situation where you are 1-6 against your core rivals and you still have a job.
John Gruden?
Yeah, he might be one you can throw out there, but he talks his way into jobs. He's definitely not. He definitely not. He hasn't shown anything.
And
in
then,
my opinion.
and then football is
Jeff
NFL is different.
Jeff Fisher until he got
Jeff Fisher, until they woke up and realized that he was
He's
garbage, and he
garbage
hasn't
head.
seen a sideline since. But to me, Jim Harbaugh has been stealing money since he got there, in my opinion. He did a great job at Stanford, obviously. Did a great job in San Francisco. Took that team where nobody really predicted that team to go to the Super Bowl. Fantastic. He has not lived up to the hype in Michigan at all, in my opinion. Like I said, when you can beat everybody else, that means nothing when you can't beat Michigan State or Ohio State when you're the head coach of the University of Michigan. It means nothing.
I think he thought that he was going to really exuberate and get a lot of recruits. And he's had some decent recruits come through there.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate the team down south, Ohio State, recruits better.
Yeah, he can't out-recruit Ohio State.
He can't. So I totally agree with you because I've seen coaches. I remember when Cooper was at Ohio State, and Cooper had tons of boys that come through that program, but he could not beat Michigan.
Couldn't beat 'em.
For nothing.
And what'd they do? They got rid of
They
him.
got rid of him. I remember when Michigan, I think, was 5-6. They were awful that year, and they played Ohio State. Of course, the last game of the season, and Tim Biaka-Batuka hit them up for 400. And it was
Biaka Batuka.
He dug that name up from.
Bruh, I haven't heard Tim Biaka. Biaka Batuka is so long.
long. Exactly, that was the highlight of. I think.
Hopefully,
he
we won't have
did.
anybody under 25 watching our show because they're not gonna have
They're
a
not
clue.
gonna
who
No.
know who Tim
Well, that's why this
Biaka
is the OG Sportscast.
So with that, even though we're talking about let's stick with the Big Ten. So we got a big matchup next week with Indiana and Michigan. It might not be that big of a matchup now that Michigan took that L, but is Indiana legit? Indiana is not. I wouldn't say a doormat of the Big Ten, but they typically don't. They don't do too well in the Big Ten. It looks like this year with a bunch of boys from Tampa, a bunch of boys from Florida.
Hello.
They seem to be.
I haven't seen them, so I can't.
Hey man,
even vote on
Penix
them.
is how Penix got out of the state of Florida and went to Indiana
From Tampa Bay Tech
Tampa
High
Bay
School.
Tech High School, and is up there just running the show.
Probably because there's probably one of the few schools gonna give him an opportunity to play quarterback.
You're right.
You know, because he didn't have, you know, gaudy numbers from, you know, throwing standpoint when he was in high school. So that was probably one of his few opportunities to actually play quarterback. Probably the same reason why Kenny Kelly's son Kyle is going to Ball State, because, you know, even though he had some bigger offers, Ball State's probably gonna give him the ball as soon as he gets there. Put the ball in his hand as soon as he get there and play, you know, behind center and let him do his thing. So
I
that's probably
coached
why
him when he
Penix.
was 9.
Yeah, that's probably why Penix ended up at Indiana, because, you know, they probably wanted to throw him to
Everybody else want to play
receiver.
a wide receiver or safety or something like that,
Exactly.
like they typically do. So
Yeah, yeah.
This that game was in the big house or at Indiana?
it's in Indiana, I think.
I think Indiana got a shot.
They definitely do have a shot. I was watching game day 2 weeks ago, and Lee Corso picked them to upset. Was it Penn State?
Yeah, I was going to say.
He picked them to upset Penn State,
And it worked.
and it worked.
They did.
I mean, I think that. So I think I don't think they're ready to take down Ohio State, anybody like that. But 8, 9, 10 win Indiana team go to a decent bowl this year. I think. And build on that. I think they're legit.
And Michigan's reeling right now from losing to Michigan State again at home.
That will tell you everything about Harbaugh though.
Yeah, it'll tell you everything about his coaching.
If he is who they want him to be, and if the coach that we know he can be, if he beats Indiana, it'll put Michigan right back on track until they play Ohio State and get thrashed.
If they lose to Indiana and he's not fired on Monday,
He won't be fired on
he
Monday.
got some dirty pictures of the president or something.
He won't be fired
I
on
think
Monday.
if he loses to Indiana, then the time is ticking.
Yeah.
Because he's going to lose to Ohio State again.
They are.
So,
Yeah, the clock should be
Unless something happens to Justin Fields or something.
the clock should be going crazy. Even if they lose Justin Fields, Michigan's not beating him, in my opinion. Like if like I said, the clock should be ticking as loud as it can possibly tick on Monday if he loses to Indiana. Because what else does he have to do to lose his job? Like, I mean, he's already making $7 million a year.
Right.
We paying him $7 million a year to lose to Indiana? I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, I know this when we get to our picks later on. Next week's games, because the games this week wasn't really.
No,
It was
no.
a couple of them, but next week though we got some matchups
some
next
matchups.
week.
I know we want to move on to the next time, but did y'all watch Oklahoma? I mean Oklahoma State and Texas. That was
Well, I didn't see that game.
No, I ain't watched that one.
it was a hell of a game. It was.
It's
cool.
another overrated team.
Texas is they're monumentally overrated.
No,
every
not
single
Texas,
year.
not Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State too. Yeah,
Mike
obviously.
Mike Gundy.
But I tell you what, that kid from Texas, Essinger, is the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Man,
like
that kid,
40.
Man, that kid.
He's been there.
I
He's been there like
swear
6
Ellis
years
has
already.
been there.
But man, that kid will put that team on his back at any moment.
Oh, yeah.
He
And-
got
He almost pulled it out against Oklahoma.
he got recruited by Charlie. He was there when Charlie Strong was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You sure Mac Brown in recruited? What do you think about Clemson Notre Dame without Trevor Lawrence? Notre Dame got a
Is the game? Is it Notre Dame?
Uh,
Hold on, I got it.
See, for me,
It is in Notre Dame.
it's tough for me to call because I'm trying to keep my emotions out of this. Emotionally,
It's fuck.
I
Dabo.
want them both to lose.
right.
But you know what I'm saying? 'Cause
But
Notre-
you hate Dabo even more.
even more than I hate the fact that Brian Kelly's another one's been stealing money from Notre Dame, because they'll win 8-9 games and then get to the end and crumble every single year.
But that's who Notre Dame is, though.
Yeah,
That's who they are. And I think the difference between Michigan and Notre Dame is Notre Dame doesn't have those expectations that Michigan has.
right, because they don't have a conference.
Right, they don't have a
They
conference.
can claim.
But
Until now.
Right.
Right.
But Notre Dame has that, every 3-4 years we'll put a good team out there and we'll see where we go. And if we lose, we lose, we make it. So I think that's the difference. But without Trevor Lawrence in this game,
do they have a chance to win? I think
Yeah.
so. If Notre Dame can run the ball,
If they can run the ball
if they can
like-
run the ball like they did on Florida State,
Right.
they absolutely will have a chance.
we're not even going to talk about that.
Yeah, that was.
But I mean, if Clemson allowed Boston College to jump up on them, 28-10, if they let that happen against Notre Dame, they're gonna be
It's
in
a wrap.
trouble.
It's a
They're
wrap
gonna be in
because
trouble.
Notre Dame is a more experienced team with a better quarterback.
And they will run the ball and eat that clock alive until it gets to 0-0.
I was I was pulling the hair out my beard when the old boy for Boston College. How you fourth and you really overthrew the wide receivers both times. You can't hit him in the hands and nothing. Put it somewhere he could die for
man,
it.
that pressure bust pipes, man. It's a lot on the line with that.
Oh,
throw.
when they got that safety, it was over with. I said,
Yeah.
Clemson got this one.
Yeah, man.
Only thing I just ask if Notre Dame asked Under Armour to change the fonts on them jerseys. They have the you know how you supposed to have small and big in the back.
Yeah.
Both of them got too small. I was like, dude, send them back to Under Armour.
Only
Or
you
get
would.
you a Nike deal. You know?
Oh man.
All right. Big day in the NFL today. Lots of upsets. This is I was telling the fellas earlier, this is why I don't play football pools on weeks like this.
If you can call NFL matchups upsets, I mean,
Yeah, well,
mean,
yeah.
you
anybody
can.
can lose any given Sunday.
Any
you
Sunday.
right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
But Miami shouldn't have beat the Rams today.
No,
no.
not at all.
And Cincinnati should not have beat Tennessee
Should
today.
not have beat Tennessee today.
Should have not beat Tennessee.
They had Joe Burrow looking like he was back in LSU.
Yeah,
running
back
for
in
a
the
high
tackle.
They solid though the whole season. They just been losing.
Yeah. Joe Burrow.
He's
Joe
on a
Burrow's gonna be okay.
The fact that they have 2 wins is, I mean, they've already exceeded expectations by winning 2 games anyway. Especially beating Tennessee today. It's ridiculous.
Right.
That kid, if they can get some talent around him before he gets too broke up or too old, then he can be pretty
be
good.
all right.
Tannehill was all over. That loss was on Tannehill. He was all over the place.
I will
You
never
got
have.
Vikings over Packers. Who had that?
I know, but nobody had Vikings over Packers. Nobody had Dalvin Cook going off for 4 touchdowns.
I don't know, man. I haven't been a believer in Green Bay in years. So regardless of what kind of product they put on the field, I always feel like that they at any moment they can improve.
They're doing Aaron Rodgers an injustice.
They've been doing them like that for years. They would not put
But
nobody
at least
around
they
them.
they had a defense to do it. At least they had somewhat of a decent. They had a great offensive line. But they don't want to get this man no help. How you draft a quarterback in the first round
Right.
and you need wide receivers
and defensive help.
and defensive help? That's why they talking about like trading for Will Fuller from the Texans. Like they need to do something.
Aaron Rodgers needs to demand a trade. It's time. Like it's been that long enough. Like I've killed myself for y'all for how many years?
I mean, that's the thing with the NFL. Them numbers are too high. That cap hit is too high to be asking for a trade.
It is,
Because
but
if he goes somewhere, and he's not gonna have nobody around him. He'll just
true.
be
Because they're gonna
him.
have to give up the farm to get him. So
Right.
I don't know, man. I just like to say I hate it when he got to sit there. I'm not a Rodgers fan or a Packers fan, but I hate the fact that you got this generational talent at quarterback. You've had it there for years. And that man got to sit around and watch everybody else get all this talent put around them, and he's still with the same bums he's had
same
forever.
bums.
Not calling it,
I mean,
obviously
Devontae
Adams
outside of Devontae Adams,
he's had
Yeah,
nobody else
bums.
to throw the ball to.
Yeah.
that's it.
I can't name a running back on the team. I can't name another receiver.
The running back's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, but he's hurt Jones. Aaron
Jones,
Jones. Yeah.
Aaron Jones. The running back's pretty good.
But the man's he's been playing by himself for years. And like I said, it's got to be rough watching everybody else add talent around their garbage quarterbacks.
The Saints
The
did
Bears
pull
put
that
more
game
talent
out.
around Trubisky than they did Aaron Rodgers. But let me get off of that train.
You said the Bears they pulled it
Saints
out.
pulled out.
Saints pulled it out.
Overtime, 26-23.
Did Drew Brees roll the ball to somebody?
Yeah, he probably tripped and fumbled, and they picked it up and ran inside.
Because that arm is
Arm is bad. Drew Brees,
he shot putting that thing out there now, ain't he?
he's really struggling. I mean, I saw him one hop balls to open receivers, and because I remember going back to week 1 in the Bucks game, and I was like, why are they running the ball so much? Now I know. They hiding because
He can't throw. He's not throwing the ball
He's
40
in-
times a game anymore.
No.
It's over.
no.
And like I always say, Father Time is undefeated, man. They can only do it for so long. Especially with him, he's had a surgically repaired shoulder, in his career,
Yeah.
among other injuries he's had on his throwing arm. So yeah, it's about that time.
about that
time.
New Orleans has they slutted Drew Brees out, like they dogged him out.
I mean,
They paid. They got a Super Bowl win,
they did.
but man, you putting it on this. Unlike Aaron Rodgers, he's had help around him.
Yeah.
But damn,
Man, the Saints probably feel like, look, man, we gave you a chance when really nobody else was. We brought you here.
thought you was getting ready to go to Miami that year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you owe us. So we're gonna toss you out here every chance we get.
You know what this is and why that's happening though.
Wow.
That's that karma for that bullshit that he said about the flag earlier before the season started.
It's coming back to bite
That's
him.
what his ass get. Karma and Father Time is undefeated.
I really think the Saints thought he was gonna wrap it up after last year, because what got me was like, you get to the Pro Bowl, like, oh, I'm gonna make an announcement. Usually, you gonna make an announcement,
You shutting it down.
I'm shutting it down.
Yeah.
You make an announcement and say I'm coming back. Like, really? And it just messed up the whole thing, because I think they really wanted to keep Teddy Bridgewater
They
there.
did.
And when Breeze come in and say, I'm coming back, okay, now Teddy Ballgame says, well, I'm out of here.
I'm leaving.
And
Somebody's offering me a bigger check to
bigger
go
check
play right now.
to play right now.
Y'all still trying to pay Taysom Hill like he's the backup in waiting.
And he's not. I don't know
not.
why they got this guy listed as number 2, because if Drew Brees going down, Jameis Winston is coming off that bench.
Yes.
Taysom Hill is not going to take no snaps unless
Unless they're going wildcat for 80 yards down the field, which is not going to happen. It's not going to work.
My man J Dub coming in eating these W's.
You better believe it. I'm telling you, mark my words.
No,
my words are not. My words are never all that strong.
No, don't mark any of your words. None of your words, please.
Jameis
Your luck when it
Jameis
comes.
is going to keep Sean Payton in the league as a coach for another 10 years.
Stop.
Mark it
Stop.
down.
Stop,
Stone.
Just stop, man.
Jameis gets his chance.
Stop,
Sean
man.
Payton's going to be a coach for another 10 years because of Jameis.
I always said poetic justice that he plays when they come here.
Watch. It's going to happen.
It might.
Just like Florida State's going to put up 60 on Louisville. We won't get into that.
Stop.
Moving right along.
We're right along.
Before I ruin the show already.
So the next segment is
What we on?
what we own. No.
Yeah.
Picks, right?
Nah, we're gonna go what we on.
Okay, what we own.
So in this segment, we're gonna give y'all some albums that you can check out, some music that we kind of grew up on, or we have not grown up on. It's gonna be different genres sometimes, but different artists you can go and check out based on our recommendations. Chuck, who you got this week for what you on?
What I'm on this week, I was actually listening to a couple of cuts on the way here. And like I said, when I think about music and what it means to me, I think about kind of where I was during that time when it came out. And I had already been on Southern Playalistic Cadillac music since my senior year of high school. So when that ATLiens dropped in 1996, when I first heard that Two Dope Boys in a Cadillac, I was sold, bro. To me, that's an album that I can play from start to finish. Won't have to skip nothing. And I can play it over and over and over again, because that's exactly what I did in 96. I played it over and over and over again until 1998 when Aquemini came out.
Bro, I would play ATLiens on my way to practice in my '89 Toyota Corolla with the headliner coming down. In the tape deck, I'm going to coach these Pal Eagles, and I'm just killing it.
Man, I got you
Cassette
one.
or CD?
I had cassette.
I had a cassette.
All right,
I wasn't quite that. And I'm going to tell you why I had cassette. I can do you one better than
No, I had the
Toyota.
CD. I'm sorry. I had the CD. I had the little Sony.
You new school.
Yeah, I used to plug the little tape. I plugged the tape in there
He
with my
also did it and
Walkman over there.
everything.
You couldn't drive you had to drive real careful with that Walkman.
Oh,
and the
yeah,
tape,
'cause it
it
skipped.
skipped. You hit a bump and it skipped.
I hadn't graduated the CDs just yet. I was still on the tape deck, so I never forget it because
You ain't graduate to BMG, Columbia House. That's how I got mine.
not yet.
That's how I got mine, baby.
I wasn't there yet.
Oh, man. Who
Columbia
did
House
rob
put me.
them, man?
I was still
You
going
gonna give
buying
me 6
tapes.
CDs for a penny, and I don't even have to send you this penny? What kind of shit is this? Yeah, I'll take it.
I was still on tapes, man. Still flipping them over, back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. Those were good old days, bro.
Rewind and the
Yeah,
tape pop.
man. Tape pop. No big deal. You just straighten that out.
Get your
Turn
pencil.
get you a pencil
Pencil with
twist it
eraser.
in there.
You old
Good
as
as
hell. You old as hell. Cedric, who you got, man?
Man, mine, same like you. I always have music, and it takes me back to place and time. Good memories, bad memories, whatever. My album this week is by an artist who he's probably going to go down as a one-hit wonder because of a tragic accident. That was the DOC.
Oh man.
No one can do it better. Excuse me. I was coming out of basic training in the military, going in AIT, and I remember hearing the DOC on NWA Straight Outta Compton's album.
Right.
When he's on that last cut, Parental Discretion to 5. I said, this dude is dope. came out with that one CD right then. Came out with that tape, and it's a classic. A lot of people don't know about him, but Snoop owes his career to DOC.
Dre owes
Dre.
half of the songs that he had ever rapped in his life to DOC.
DOC.
Yep.
When Q left NWA,
Right.
he took over as essentially the head writer for them. So
them,
anything they had once Q left, they owed it to DOC.
Had a great voice, everything, but unfortunately he had a horrible car accident that crushed his larynx, and
He ain't been the same.
He ain't been the same. I've seen interviews with him where he can actually, at some points, the voice will come back in and out.
In and out. I saw that
But
too.
yeah, but I mean, I hate to say, did you ever heard that tragic album he tried to make?
Yeah,
with
it
the
was,
voice.
it was a bad idea, bro. They should have left that on the cutting room floor.
I had that one tear.
What could have been.
You hear like that gif with the black boy with the one little tear coming out. Sitting looking real sad. That was you, huh?
DOC doing good though, man. I follow him on Instagram, man.
Yeah,
he got like 2 small sons, and he still, he got an older daughter with Erykah Badu. He's still
He
doing
was trapped
good,
in
man.
that Erykah Badu snap. I don't know what.
Who hasn't?
That's
been
a whole
trapped?
different
Yeah.
story.
We may have
Okay.
that may be a segment on its own for one show. Who else did Erykah
Who
Badu
Erykah got
trap?
sucked in? She got a lot of 'em.
Yeah.
For me, my album is, and I didn't initially hear it when it first came out. So, is Nas Illmatic. Now, it was written was my first introduction to Nas because that was in '96, my freshman year.
Yeah.
I remember a bunch of us went to Circuit City, and I think that same day it was
Circuit City.
it was written, came out, and it was something else that came out. I think it was the Fugees or somebody else came out that same day in '96. It might have been Outkast or Goody Mob. Anyway, so then after I heard it was written, I was like, damn, I went. So let me check out. So I went and checked out Illmatic, and man, when I tell you, this was an album where you can kind of tell where it had that boom bap feel. So anybody who was into that boom bap rap with those hard beats, hard breaks. And at this time, if y'all think about it, like the West Coast was kind of doing their thing.
Right.
Down South was pushing and kind of doing their thing. New York was lost for a minute.
Yeah.
And this is one of the albums that kind of brought New York back. My favorite track is One Love, when Nas, he sends a letter to his homeboy in jail.
Right.
And he's telling his homeboy how his kids doing, how some of the
Right.
people he's seeing in the neighborhood doing, how he helping. Like, if you lyrically, to me, Nas is one of the best lyricists of all times.
Oh yeah.
And that album, lyrically, you like, dang, man, I see why he came out and everybody was on him hard. So
And
that
you think about the producers he had.
man,
on that
MC
album.
Search,
Pete Rock,
Pete Rock, DJ Premier,
DJ Premier,
MC Search, who he started out with Third Base with.
Yeah.
Large Professor.
Right, Large Professor, rest in peace.
The tough part about that for Nas, in my opinion, was it was hard for him to do it again. Like it was written was a good album.
Yeah.
It wasn't Illmatic.
It wasn't close
wasn't
to being,
Illmatic,
and he hasn't
no.
been able to duplicate that since. That's my only issue with Nas, is that he hadn't been able to put together a body of work.
God's
like that since.
Song was straight to me. God's Song was straight. I did
It was
like
straight.
God's
It just
Song.
wasn't Illmatic, in my opinion.
I mean, but
Nothing is.
But nothing's really gonna be Illmatic. Like
Right.
nothing's ever gonna be ATLians. But you could say Outkast put out very consistent work. Like
Oh, absolutely.
other than the Idlewild album, I listen to either one of them
Right.
all day.
It's
and
hard-
I even listen to Idlewild.
Think about it. It's hard on Southern Players to skip anything.
Very
You can't really
hard.
skip anything ATLians. You don't really want to skip anything in Equipment either.
You can't.
Like that-
No.
That
Them
them
first
album
three.
run, it's hard to put up against anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Who's had okay? So I'm talking about 3 album runs. I have a theory. Who has the better 2 album run? Tupac, Me Against the World, followed by All Eyes on Me.
Woo.
Them 2 right there, man.
And you wouldn't put them up against.
I had it in my mind.
If I was to pick the 2, I would pick.
I mean, it'll be ATLians and Equipment Eye.
I would pick Life After Death and
Ready to Die.
Ready to Die. But we talking about like
I don't
Me
know,
Against the
man.
World, All Eyes on Me, ATLians, Aquemini.
Well, I'm gonna give it to Outkast because if you really look at it, All Eyes on Me was great, but some of them you could have thrown away. If you combine the best and put it on one,
That was
CD,
a mistake he made by making a double CD.
CD.
That was
Suge.
everybody made double
Right.
CDs, and half of them, 15 of them, you can
Right.
throw in the trash. So yeah, I feel you on that. I agree with you.
I listened to it the other day. I'd say out of those, we say about 30 songs, 35 songs. That 4 of them, I was like, I don't feel like hearing this
Yeah,
shit.
but that's the thing. 4 of them you gonna skip. I can't think of anything I'm gonna skip on
You're
ATLians
right. I mean, but
or
is that
Aquemini.
because we're biased because we use Outkast fans?
Could be, but I mean, I got Tupac on my chest today. I'm
I
a
hear
Tupac
that.
fan
That
too.
Me Against the World, though.
Me Against the World,
Me Against the
to
World
me
was-
was Tupac's best album.
I think
That is
best.
his best
hands
album.
down. That's his best album.
I mean, I think Strictly for My Niggas, people
Yeah.
Slept on that.
I mean,
Slept on
okay.
that one too.
It was good. Strictly for My Niggas is in the vein of Southern Playlist.
Yeah.
When my homies call came on the radio the other day, and I was losing it in the car.
What station you listen to?
I was listening to
Something in here in Tampa?
No.
Oh,
Satellite
okay.
radio.
Satellite radio.
So this fancy guy had
Yeah.
satellite
I was
radio.
going to say, I just no program director.
I've graduated to
Guts.
satellite radio from
Okay, yeah. 'cause I
anything
don't
we
even
got
listen
here
to
local.
From the tape deck you had in your old car when it got broken.
Hey, man, I can tell that story. But yeah, I did ride around with a boombox on my lap for 2 years listening to Outkast because I wasn't paying to put a new system in my truck. After my car, after somebody stole it out.
Please tell me you rode there with your shirt off.
Shirt off with the seat leaned way back here, and it was a stick too, so I was leaning back, still trying to shift gears and everything.
Hey, you know
with
back
the tape,
then-
with the tape deck right on my lap.
And you know back then seatbelts weren't mandatory,
No.
so it was all the way back.
And I had one of the ones, back when we had them Hondas where you close the door and the seatbelt would automatically
automatic seatbelt.
No,
Threw
I
that bitch back behind you.
disconnect,
It
disconnect that
disconnected.
thing from there. And so it was old, so sometimes if I didn't slam the car hard enough, it would just stay right there. It wouldn't move back. I didn't care about that.
And you couldn't have no air conditioning, right? You had to have a room with
I
roll
did.
down.
I actually did.
Oh.
You had AC?
I
You was one of them
actually had
Negroes.
You was sedated.
You was a dead T.
I had
Air
AC,
conditioned.
but I had a hole where my tape deck used to be.
They had no air conditioning 89 Toyota Corolla, dog. Whew. It's hot
I
as
think,
mud.
man, coming up, all of us went through the no air conditioning.
Oh yeah.
Getting on it, you had to ride on the interstate so you can get that win. But now, I think you should be pulled over if you don't have AC.
You shouldn't be allowed to drive a car on the road in the state of Florida without air conditioning. It should be against the law.
When you see that person stop because it's a tree.
Hey, buddy, I got a bottle of water in my car, buddy. You want this? Let me go. I'm gonna go and get. You need this more than me, bro. I got $1. Polar Pop and Circle K is 79 cents. Please go get you a cool, refreshing drink. You look like you about to die. Are you okay, sir? It's July in Florida, and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Whew.
Nothing like it, boy.
All right. Well,
But that wraps up.
what
we on for this
what we
week.
on. We're gonna move on to who you got, and in the who you got section, our section of the program of the show. So whatever. We're gonna pick a couple of games, and we're gonna keep track and keep score. And each week we'll recap who's in the lead. I'm trying to think of a good way to make this kind of some kind of trophy, maybe some kind of something we could put on for this section, maybe like a hat or a big chain or something, while we make our picks, whoever's in the lead, to let everybody know who's leading at this point. So we're going to go ahead and get into it with we'll start off with our upset pick. So we're going to pick from 6 games, and then we'll also have our own our upset pick. So for your upset pick, I'm going to go to you, Slow. Who you got this in this upcoming week?
Upset pick, I got Arizona State over USC. USC's coming in at number 22, but you know how that is. They hadn't played yet. This is right. Opening week for Pac-10. Or they
believe so.
started last week.
I think last week I could have sworn when I looked at it. I think Arizona State lost one.
You're right. Yeah. So I don't know if USC played though. I don't think. But
I don't
anyway,
believe so.
I got Arizona State. I'm gonna go with Coach Herm.
Coach Hearn,
Okay. It's not a
you
bad
play
pick.
to win the game.
Yes.
It's not a bad pick, man. They got a young brother quarterback.
Yeah. Because they did us in the bowl games.
Something awful.
Dang it. Odell. Anyway, Chuck, who you got for your upset pick?
This week, the Seminole in me wants to see the Hurricanes go down. So I'm picking NC State over Miami. It's probably not a good pick. This is just like a hopeful pick for me because more than likely the athletes should be able to take the game over from Miami and do something.
But
although they're one-dimensional to me, it's
Yes.
it's De'Aaron King or bust. They really don't have any. Don't seem like they have any other game plan outside of letting him just do whatever he can do to try to pull us out of this. But I feel like if NC State has a decent game plan against him to keep him bottled up, then they got a good chance to win.
Okay,
So
all right,
that's,
okay.
That's who I'm.
I like that.
I'm
It's,
picking.
it's always F Miami this way. For me, I'm gonna go with the University of South Carolina Gamecocks over the Texas A&M Aggies.
Over Jimbo, huh?
Over Jimbo. It's always F Jimbo over here.
Right.
Unless he's playing Florida.
Yes. I love him there.
I'm going to root for him to beat
Yes.
the Gators. Now.
I'm not gonna root for him. Period.
I'm going to root for him to at least beat the Gators. bro.
No.
I'd rather the Gators lose than Jimbo lose.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Whatever. Anyway, they're going to South Carolina, and I just have this feeling like I kind of had with the Florida State winning over North Carolina. Texas A&M is due for one of those games where they can't get it together, and they can't
Yeah.
put it together. And South Carolina's been playing pretty good football. Been playing everybody pretty close, I think, except for LSU when LSU spanked them. But they've been playing pretty good football, and that game is in South Carolina. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Gamecocks over Texas A&M.
It's a good pick.
Word.
Moving on. So our first game we're gonna go between is Michigan versus Indiana. We kind of touched on it earlier. We got Michigan, who this is gonna be a make or break game. We think, in our opinions, for Jim Harbaugh. He's either this is gonna catapult them to being good, or this is gonna be a game where Indiana is having to come out. They're gonna come out party. What you think?
To me, I think even if they're to win, let's say Michigan wins the game, really how much, regardless of how well Indiana's looked, this year, they'll still just chalk it up as, oh, he just beat Indiana. You know what I mean? To me, it's not gonna be much of a blip on the radar until he beats Wisconsin or beats Ohio State. And I think that's gonna work in Indiana's favor because I think they're gonna come in a little cocky. They're gonna think that they can roll over them, and I think that Indiana's gonna give them a game. I still think Michigan may pull it out, so I'm gonna pick Michigan to win, but not by much. Like my boy Lee Corso says, closer than the experts think.
Okay. Slow, who you got?
Chuck's making a lot of good points. Michigan, I think, will come in a little bit more focused because of the loss last week. I haven't seen Indiana, but usually these are the games pre-COVID where the crowd is ridiculous. Indiana play lights out of their minds, and they put it to Michigan. I just don't see that now with I don't know, Big Ten is even having fans, right?
I think that
There was nobody in the big house last week, and they looked weird.
they did. They did.
I'm gonna have to give it to Harbaugh, and I'm really iffy on that, but I'm gonna give Harbaugh the big game experience and see if he bounce back. And I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. But if he does lose this game, their whole season's gonna crash and burn.
Oh yeah.
Well, in my opinion, get ready for a crash and burn because I think Indiana's going to come in and once again get another big upset like they did against Penn State. So I'm picking Indiana.
Where was that game? It was at Penn State?
It was in Penn State, I think.
Oh wow.
Whew. I don't know. I might change my pick.
But
All right.
we don't know. Penn State might be trash.
I mean, yeah, yeah. So our next game is Florida, Georgia, the good old the world's
The
largest
cocktail party.
outdoor cocktail party.
Yeah, nobody goes to. But anyway,
I mean, you got two good teams. It's two top 10. It's a top 10 matchup.
You
Well,
do.
no, Florida's not in the top 10 yet, are they?
Yeah, Florida.
Florida's back in the top 10.
They're back in the
Okay.
top 10.
It's a top 10 matchup. So you got Florida, you got versus Georgia. You got offense that can put up numbers in Florida with a shitty offense, and then you got a shitty offense in Georgia with a very good defense. Who you got, Chuck?
I don't know, man. It's hard for me to pick. As much as I want Georgia to win the game, it's like, I don't know. It's like Kirby just can't get them boys to show up for the big games. It just seemed like that they out recruit just about everybody except for Alabama and Clemson.
Yeah.
But can't get over the hump. With that being said, I do feel like that their defense is better than Florida's offense. Georgia just got to figure out a way to put up, if their offense can put up 14 points at least, which I don't know if they'll be able to do it with the quarterback from he should be at a barber college as opposed to playing quarterback for Georgia. If they can squeeze out 14 points and maybe get a touchdown on defense, which I think that they're capable of doing, I think Georgia will win the game. I'm gonna pick Georgia to win.
Slow, you got.
Still in your phrase from earlier, excuse me, the Seminole in me cannot pick the Gators versus nothing. But realistically, Florida does have a good offense with that receiver that's slash tight end. You're a receiver. You're not a tight end, buddy.
Oh, yeah, what's that boy? I forgot his name. Penn?
Yeah. But Georgia has – I watched the Georgia-Kentucky game yesterday, and I totally agree with you that quarterback is awful. And I was like, man, they must have a bad situation at quarterback if he's the starter.
Well, Justin Fields left.
But they had the kid from Wake Forest, and he's third string.
Well, no, he opted out.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
They had another
I'm just going to
kid.
sit this out and go to the league.
And he's not going.
Somebody. He'll be a late round, first round pick by
But
somebody.
Jared Jones.
Georgia defense, it'll be one of those knockdown, drag out games, a turnover, and get a touchdown on defense. I'm gonna go with Georgia. 21-20. It's gonna be one of those last second games.
It pains me to have to make this pick, and
Don't tell me you're finna do what I think you're gonna do.
I'm
bad
gonna
enough.
have to check.
It's bad enough you
Florida
wore this
State
blue
card.
shirt. Are you wearing a blue shirt and you gonna pick Florida to win?
this is not Florida Blue.
It's close enough.
This is
We might
I
have
don't
to
know
check
what
his
it is.
card because first he said he couldn't go with Texas A&M over Florida.
How could you say? I'm gonna let you finish before I jump on you. Go ahead.
good offense. Good offense beats good defense 90% of the time. So Florida's offense is very good, like very good.
Yes.
Are you looking at my face right now?
No. I'm actually just thinking in my head on how I'm about to word this, but no, Florida's offense is very good. Georgia's offense is horrible. Even though Florida's defense is not that, it's trash. It is trash. They should be able to hold that Georgia offense.
Yeah.
When you
You
think
think they
about
can
it,
stop Jordan from running the ball?
yeah.
I don't know though.
Cause hey man, load it up. You ain't got a quarterback to throw it. You ain't got the receivers to throw it. You gonna do one or the other. Either you gonna be successful at running it down my throat, or we finna shut your run down and make your quarterback beat us. And I don't think he can. With that said, Florida's offense is too polished. I'm going with the Gators. And
You had some valid points.
I had some real good points, but that shit is paining me right
They
now.
all
to
made-
say
they
it
all made
made
perfect
sense in my analytical mind.
But I cannot jump on. I can't agree with you on
I'm
that.
gonna go with Florida. I'm going with Florida over Georgia. Ugh, okay, all right.
It's a new day.
Move.
bro.
I know. Hey man, Florida State ain't doing
Let's
shit.
hurry
So
up and Let's hurry up and get to the next. pick, bro.
next game is probably the biggest one of the day is Clemson at Notre Dame.
Is that a night game? Should be.
If it's probably gonna be on NBC at 8:00 or some shit like that. Who knows? Who you got?
Well, I think that
They gonna find a way to get Justin Fields back. I mean not Justin Fields. Trevor Lawrence back in this game.
well, no, they already announced that he can't play. They said that because of the protocol they have in place that he's already
okay.
out. So
He's not Nick Saban.
no, so we got the DJ kid from
California,
which is crazy because I remember watching him on QB1 on Netflix. He was a backup at the time for this kid that ended up going to Iowa State. Who's I don't know what he's doing right now because he's absolutely not
Purdy?
No. It was I forget the kid's name. It was a black kid, young, short.
Iowa State.
Yeah. So I remember seeing DJ in high school on QB1 shows. I'm like, man, this kid's gonna be pretty good. With that being said, he played well. For his first start, played well against a Boston College team that usually has a fairly decent defense. I don't know. It's hard for me to pick either one because I don't like neither one of them. But it's all going to come down to who can control the ball, in my opinion. If Notre Dame can control the clock and keep, Clemson athletes offensively off the field, then Notre Dame got a good chance to win the game. They have to shorten the game. They have to drive 80 yards and not in 7, 8, 9 plays. They got to have 15 play drives to eat the clock up, run the ball, and keep Clemson's defense on the field and keep their offense off. If they're able to do that, if they're able to run the ball and control the clock, Notre Dame should win the game.
7:30 game, 7:30 kickoff on NBC.
Let me see.
At Notre Dame?
At Notre Dame.
I'm picking Notre Dame to win.
These are the games where the idiot Dabo Swinney finds a way to win some kind of way. If he wins this game Saturday night, they have put their reservations in for the national championship. Well, at least the playoffs, because there's nobody on their schedule
That's going to
got a chance to beat them.
No.
But in Dabo's history, he's had these games where, this is not really a trap game because Notre Dame is solid. So it's not like, because, he's lost against Pitt and, those type of.
This is top 5 matchup.
Top 5 matchup.
On the road for Dabo.
On the road.
So if they lose this game.
With the backup quarterback.
With a backup quarterback. The excuse is built in.
The excuse is built in.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't trust Notre Dame to beat them. It's like with the Indiana game. If the 100,000 was going to be there at Notre Dame Stadium and the Shamrocks are flying and everything, touchdown, Jesus, all that. But I hate to say it. I think Clemson has the better athletes. And it's going to be one of those games where Notre Dame will turn the ball over. Clemson will capitalize on it. He's going to simplify the game for the young guy. ETN should carry the ball about 20 to 30 times.
Yeah.
So I think Clemson's got it. Tight game though.
I agree, tight game, but I'm gonna go the other way with it, and I think Notre Dame's gonna pull it off, and that's because they don't have Trevor Lawrence isn't playing. The game's in Notre Dame. It's a night game. It's probably gonna be cold. Notre Dame's defense is pretty good. They got a couple guys that'll get drafted.
Good point about the weather. I didn't even think of that.
Ian Book is an experienced quarterback, unlike the guy from Boston College, and Ian Book can make throws. And if they commit to running the ball, like they've done against Florida State and all these other teams, it's gonna be a long night for Clemson. And I think Notre Dame's gonna pull this one out. So I'm going with Notre Dame. All right, let's move on to our next game. Excuse me. Going on to the NFL. So we got the Bears versus the Titans. Who you got?
There's no way that the Titans can lose again, right? They just lost. They embarrassed. They lost to Cincinnati today.
It's in that the game's in Nashville.
Yeah, I think that's the recipe for give Derrick Henry the ball. Because we just got embarrassed last week, so we need to give Derrick Henry the ball 30 times and dare the Bears to try to stop us. Because they're not going to be able to throw the ball. Because as soon as Tannehill tries to get back there, then you're going to have 52 in his face every other play. So I think if the Titans are smart enough to run the ball, they're at home, they will have their fans there, which they're loyal folks. They love their Titans in Nashville. I think the Titans will pull it out and beat the Bears.
Nick Foles is trash. Watching the Saints game today, he is pretty awful.
Worse than Tannehill?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tannehill has showed
yeah.
me some things, last year and this year that he's not
He's stealing money.
Right, he's stealing money. He's not the quarterback to say, win me the game. He's the quarterback
Absolutely.
that says, don't make us
Don't screw it
lose.
up.
Yes,
Yeah.
don't screw it up. I totally agree with you that Tennessee's going to have to pound the ball, but I think Tannehill's going to have to make a couple plays with his arm, which I think he will. Nick Foles is trash. I'm going with Tennessee.
I'm going with Tennessee too, so we'll make it a clean sweep. The Bears, defensively, they're good, but the offense just that Nick Foles, Mitchell Trubisky, whoever you want to throw back there, they're not getting it done. So Tennessee coming off a loss at home, I expect them to play much better and pull this one out. Next game, Saints versus the Bucks. Now this is a rematch from Week 1 when Drew Brees and them Saints put it on the Bucks. Tom Brady threw a couple of picks. The Bucks defense looked like trash, and they lost that game. So this is the rematch at home in Tampa. Who you got, Chuck?
Because Drew Brees' arm is looking like mine, and this week we should have, the introduction of AB in a Bucks uniform. Tom's probably gonna throw him. He probably gonna target him 12 to
No, he's
15
not.
times.
He's gonna throw it to Scotty Miller like he always does. Stop.
I'm telling you, I think he's in love with AB. I think Scotty Miller's gonna be out there. Scotty Miller's not gonna catch as many balls as AB does. Well, let me rephrase. He's not gonna be targeted as much as AB is gonna be targeted. Because Tom's gonna try to shove it down AB's throat. Mike Evans is gonna get mad.
Chris Godwin's out, I think.
Chris Godwin's out because he's had surgery. As much dysfunction as I wish upon the Bucks for the way they did Jameis, I do think they're gonna win the game. Because, like you said, Drew Brees he just don't have it anymore, man. Unless they're gonna take him out and let's see what Jameis can do against his former team, I don't think the Saints got a chance. It pains me to say that.
I think the Bucks defense is going to be a little bit too much for New Orleans. But two X factors, Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders should be back. That might help
gonna make a
New
difference.
Orleans. I just looking at Drew Brees, it's like he's declining week in, week out. From that first game, and even the first game, he really wasn't that good.
Right.
I think but in football terms, not to be too technical, I'm interested to see since Chris Godwin is out, is AB going to play a X or Z position, or is he going to be in the slot, which Scotty Miller usually be in the slot? Are they going to put him on the island? And because Lattimore is taking somebody out. Somebody ain't getting no catches. So
But
usually he do that to Mike Evans.
He always frustrates
The
Mike
smart
Evans.
thing to do is to put him on Evans
And
to take him out and
frustrate him
see
like
what
they always do.
see what
Jack
AB
Rabbit get AB.
see what AB got.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to show him prove.
It
It's
don't
your
matter
first
what
time
AB
playing
has
since.
because Tom Brady's gonna throw the fucking Scotty Miller the whole game. Scotty Miller's gonna get like 15
And Gronk's
targets.
in the offense now.
Gronk's catching passes.
It's another talking about stealing money. Jesus,
What Tom Brady wants, Tom Brady gets.
obviously.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna go with you, Slow. I'm kind of in the same vein of the Bucks defense is playing very good right now. And I'll probably say this, and then they'll probably fucking shit the bed tomorrow night against the Giants like they always do.
Man,
But
I
I'm
hope
not,
so.
No, God, no, please. If they lay down against the Giants like they did last year,
I'm going to buy a Giants jersey to wear on our next show if that happens.
go get you a.
I don't see that happening.
I don't see it happening. I'm gonna go up my Bucks. I'm going my Buccaneers against the Saints. So that I just think the defense is too much. They're running the ball a lot better, and definitely takes that pressure off Tom Brady. And Tom Brady has too many weapons he can dink and dunk to.
He's still going to throw the ball 40 times.
And Scotty Miller's gonna get 35 of those targets.
It's ridiculous.
He is the Julian Edelman light of the
He loves-
NFC
and he
South.
loves it.
I mean, if I was a
So is
fantasy,
AB Julian Edelman dark?
Yeah.
That was a dad joke. Anyway,
Well, you know Tom Brady and AB is secret lovers, right?
got to be.
really?
Got to be.
he-
Because your boy
he
Bruce
stayed with
Arians
him
was
in
like,
Giselle.
what did Bruce Arians say a few weeks ago, a few months ago? No, that kid's he's not a good fit here. It won't work. We can't do it. And then now he gonna try to come out and say Tom had nothing to do with AB being here.
Yeah, right.
We talked about this for weeks. Come on, man. What, like you said, what Tom wants, Tom gets.
That's what
What my
I
baby
was-
wants, my baby gets.
I got to fight every night.
Oh,
All right, moving on to the next game. So finally, which the last game that we're gonna be picking from is turning out to be a very good game. We got an established old vet and these old Seattle Seahawks and Russell Wilson against the young bull that's coming up with the Bills. You know, what's his name? Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Nobody saw this 2 years ago. They was ready to just run Josh Allen up out of here, but last year he turned it around, got the Bills to the playoffs. The game is in Buffalo. The Bills are 4-1. The Seahawks only got one loss. Anyway, Chuck, who you got in this game?
Josh Allen is still trash, by the way.
Yeah.
If we have a distance contest, who can throw the ball the farthest, he's your man. Or if you want him to run a little bit, yeah, you can do it. I still think he's trash. There's no way I will pick him over Russell Wilson. Seattle's going to win the game.
In Buffalo, I know it's going to be 20 degrees up there.
No, it's gonna be cold.
Seattle's
It's
used to
cold in
playing
Seattle,
in
too.
cold, but not that kind of
Not
cold.
that cold. That's a different.
Seattle
cold.
defense played very well today. I don't know if that's a
Did Dunlap play this game?
no.
Was Adams back this game? Safety?
No. But Bobby Wagner was all over the field.
Yeah.
This is one of those guys I love to see play football. He was playing insane.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. I'm a big Patrick Mahomes fan, and but Russell's playing like today. I mean, I don't know who's going to guard DK Metcalf. Caught 12 today for $160.
Ridiculous, bro.
He's just, but it's just something about going up there to Buffalo. It's probably a 1:00 game. Hit up in that
Yeah,
cold.
ain't gonna be no night game in Buffalo. I don't know. It could be. I mean, it could be prime time. Let's see. Could be a prime time game. Who knows?
And that might determine
Which way you go?
which way I go.
let's
Because
see.
Russell
So-
Wilson on the lights is unstoppable. But it's one of them games where Buffalo plays ugly.
This game. It is a 1:00 game on Fox.
I'm gonna give us Buffalo. It's gonna be that 17-13 game, and
Yeah.
and Russell Wilson will throw one of those picks that he's not in his character, and Buffalo finds a way to win the game, barely.
What you got?
I'm leaning towards the Seahawks, but from what I saw from Buffalo, Josh Allen is not Tom Brady. He's not Drew Bledsoe.
They're gonna ugly the game up.
They're gonna ugly the game up, but he is efficient with the ball, and he doesn't really turn the ball over. This game, I'm gonna go with the Bills. I'm going with the Bills.
All right.
That'll do it for our pick. So we're gonna keep score and see how we did next week. And next week the lead dog will get the boast and flaunt a little bit. So I'm gonna try to come up with something. I don't know. We'll go. So we'll go ahead and throw it back to you with the women's.
Appreciate
time
that, brother.
for the
So
ladies.
our final segment of the show, we want to show some love to women in sports. This is something that we'll do every episode. We'll pick a different woman in sports to honor whether she's still with us or have passed on, and we'll give them their flowers regardless. So this week, we want to honor a woman by the name of Wilma Rudolph. Wilma Rudolph was born prematurely, actually, on June 23rd, 1940, in St. Bethlehem, Tennessee, as the 20th of 22 children.
Wait, hold on. Who?
You heard what I said. 20th of 22 children. Her father had he was married twice, and between the two marriages had 22 children, and she was the 20th of those 22. Ooh. Yeah. As a child, Wilma, she had to overcome double pneumonia, scarlet fever, and polio, as well as she had a stint where she had to wear a brace on her left leg. Doctors even told her at one point that she'd never walk again, but she said that her mother told her, yes, you will, and she believed her mother. Despite all those things, she grew up to be one of the greatest female athletes the world had ever seen. Nicknamed Skeeter because of her speed, Wilma would attend an all-black Burt High School in Tennessee, where she excelled in both basketball and track. At the age of 16, Rudolph was the youngest member of the U.S. track and field team for the 1956 Games in Melbourne, Australia, where she earned a bronze medal in the 400-meter relay. After finishing high school, she attended Tennessee State University and focused on training for the 1960 Games, which in Rome, Italy, the 60 Games, she went on to win the 100 meters with a time of 11 seconds flat. It was wind aided, but it was 11 seconds flat. At the time, it was a world record. She also broke the world record in the 200 with 23.2 seconds, taking home her second gold, only to finish it off with a world record in the 400-meter relay with the team. With that, she became the first American woman to win 3 golds in the same Olympics. She also went on in 1960 and 61 to win the Associated Press Female Athlete of the Year. And she retired not long after that. And upon retirement, she focused on giving back by teaching, coaching, and running a community center. She is honored in her hometown of Clarksville, Tennessee. Shout out Clarksville, Tennessee, and Clarks Vegas, aka. She has was dedicated. They dedicated a Wilma Rudolph Boulevard to her in 1994. She also has a bronze statue in front of the Wilma Rudolph Event Center that she got in 1995, as well as a dormitory at TSU that bears her name, which is the Wilma G. Rudolph Residence Center. And with that, we want to present Miss Wilma Glodine Rudolph her flowers on behalf of the OG Sports Show. May her legacy live on forever.
God bless, Wilma.
Yeah. So, fellas, that pretty much wraps up our very first show.
Yep.
That's it.
I don't know about y'all. I'm excited. Make sure everybody continues to tune in. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. We'll be shooting out shows here pretty frequently, right?
Yeah, twice a month to start out.
Yeah. All right.
Got to get a feel for it since this is our first time actually doing a podcast. So we'll see how it go. We'll see how, my wife and Chuck's wife, if they allow us to keep coming out doing these shows every week.
But y'all continue to support. Make sure you subscribe to SVM's YouTube page. We can check out not just us, but a multitude of other podcasts as well. And we'll see y'all next time. We'll get back with y'all.
Peace.
You